The Galactic Council chamber stretched across 3 kilometers of pristine white marble, its vaulted ceiling displaying the swirling majesty of the galaxy itself. 247 species had gathered for what they believed would be a historic session. The subject, humanity's expulsion from civilized space. Ambassador Th Keel of the Crystalline Concordat called the session to order, their translucent form shimmering with righteous indignation. We are here to address the human problem. In the mere 50 years since their admission to this council, they have disrupted centuries of established protocol, violated trade agreements, and shown contempt for galactic law. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembled delegates. The Valorum representative raised their appendage. They terraform without permits. They colonize restricted zones. They breed without population controls. They negotiate with threats rather than diplomacy, added the Chulari ambassador, their tentacles coiling in distress. Just last cycle, they threatened to glass our mining colonies if we didn't withdraw from the disputed sector. At the far end of the chamber, isolated as always, stood the human delegation. Ambassador Sarah Chen remained perfectly still, her face an unreadable mask. Her assistant, Marcus Webb, leaned close to whisper, but she raised a hand to silence him. Th Keel continued, humanity has proven themselves incompatible with galactic civilization. Therefore, I motion for immediate exile. They will have 10 cycles to withdraw all vessels, stations, and colonies to their home system. The Sol system will be quarantined indefinitely, seconded, came multiple voices across the chamber. All in favor of humanity's exile from the Galactic Council and civilized space. Before you finish that vote, Ambassador Chen's voice cut through the chamber like a blade, amplified across every translation node. I'd like to share something with the council. Th Keel's form flickered with annoyance. The human delegation has no right to speak during a disciplinary vote. Oh, I'm not speaking as a delegate, Chen smiled, and there was something in that expression that made several nearby ambassadors shift uncomfortably. I'm simply providing information you'll need for your records. She touched her wrist display. Above the council chamber, holographic projections materialized, thousands of them. Ship manifests. Colony rosters. Station populations. Mining operations. Trade routes. The sheer scope of human presence in the galaxy materialized before the stunned assembly. You see, Chen continued conversationally, while you've been preparing this vote for the past 3 cycles, we've been preparing too. Humanity isn't particularly good at waiting around to be judged. Ambassador Th Keel studied the projections with growing unease. These numbers, this can't be accurate. According to our intelligence, humanity maintains 47 colony worlds. Your intelligence is 6 months old, Marcus interjected. We're efficient like that. Chen zoomed the display to show real-time data. As of this moment, humanity maintains 312 colony worlds, 47 major space stations, 672 mining operations, and a civilian fleet of approximately 90,000 vessels. She paused. Oh, and those don't include military assets. We don't share those numbers. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted over each other, demanding explanations, accusing humanity of deception, calling for immediate military intervention. Chen waited for the noise to subside before continuing. Here's the thing about humans, we're remarkably good at reading rooms. 3 cycles ago, when your preliminary discussions about exiling us began, we knew exactly where this was heading. So we made a decision. She gestured, and the holographic display shifted. Now it showed something else, thousands of ships in motion, colonies being systematically packed up, stations being deconstructed with industrial efficiency. Timestamps showed the activity had begun weeks ago. We're leaving, Chen said simply. Not because you're exiling us, we frankly don't care about your vote. We're leaving because we've concluded that the Galactic Council is a bureaucratic nightmare that stifles innovation, punishes ambition, and exists primarily to maintain the status quo for species that stopped evolving millennia ago. The Valorum representative stood, their vocal sac inflating with indignation. You cannot simply leave. The regulations regarding council withdrawal require a 200-cycle notification period, submission of all territorial claims for arbitration, gradual withdrawal of assets, and payment of outstanding obligations. Yes, we read the bylaws. Chen's smile widened. We're not withdrawing. We're just leaving. There's a difference. This is unprecedented. Th Keel's crystalline form flashed red. Illegal. Sue us, Marcus shrugged. Oh wait, we won't be here to receive the summons. Chen pulled up another display. By the time this session ends, which, if I recall correctly, requires a full vote, debate period, and ratification process that takes approximately 4 hours, humanity will have evacuated 93% of our presence in council space. The remaining 7% will be gone by morning. Impossible, the Chulari ambassador breathed. The logistics alone would be impossible for you, Chen agreed. Your species spends 6 months debating optimal transportation routes. We started loading ships while you were still forming subcommittees to discuss forming committees to address the human question. She zoomed the display outward, showing vectors leading away from council space. Thousands of ships, traveling in coordinated groups toward the galactic rim. We've claimed 300 systems beyond your borders. Systems you classified as too dangerous, economical, unviable, or requiring too much effort to develop. We'll make them work. You'll die out there, Th Keel said, their form flickering uncertainty. Beyond council protection, beyond trade networks, beyond your regulations, Shin interrupted. Beyond your endless debates. Beyond your fear of taking risks. She looked around the chamber at the assembled species, most of whom had held their positions for centuries. You know what humanity has realized? The galaxy doesn't need protection, it needs pioneers. Marcus brought up the final display, a constitution. The Human Frontier Collective. We're establishing our own governance structure. Open borders, minimal bureaucracy, merit-based advancement. And here's the interesting part, we're accepting applications from individuals of any species who want to join us. The chamber fell silent. Chen could see the calculations happening behind alien eyes. How many of their own populations, particularly their youth, might find the human offer appealing? You're making a mistake, Th Keel said quietly, the anger draining from their tone. The galaxy is dangerous. There are threats beyond council space that you cannot imagine. Then we'll face them, Chen replied. Or die trying. But at least we'll be free to try. She collected her datapad. The vote can continue if you want. We won't be here to hear the results. We have ships to catch. As the human delegation walked toward the exit, the council chamber remained frozen in stunned silence. Finally, the Valorum representative spoke. Should we continue the vote? Th Keel stared at the holographic display still floating above the chamber floor, showing the exodus in real time. Humanity's colonies going dark one by one. Ships accelerating away from council space. 50 years of human presence systematically erasing itself. What would be the point? Th Keel asked quietly. You can't exile someone who's already left. Behind them, Ambassador Chen's final transmission echoed through the chamber. Thanks for the 50 years, Council. It's been educational. We'll send a postcard from the frontier. The communication channel closed. The Galactic Council, for the first time in its 8,000-year history, sat in absolute silence, trying to process what had just happened. Humanity hadn't waited to be exiled. They'd looked at the most powerful governing body in the galaxy, shrugged, and walked away to build something better. The age of the Council's absolute authority had ended not with a war, not with a revolution, but with humanity's simple, devastating conclusion, you're not worth waiting for.